Kia ora from beautiful Aotearoa, that is to say hello from beautiful New Zealand. I'm Career Break Guy, taking a break from my corporate life today to play some Dungeons & Dragons, kind of. Let me just flick over my screen here. This is the new Welcome to the Hellfire Club box set for D&D, which I thought might be fun to play, and because it's me, I'm going to play it using Nimble too. And because it's also me, I'm going to play it solo. Two of those things this box set probably wasn't meant for. Gonna try it out anyway. And just to make things even more complicated, I'm going to try using the D&D Beyond VTT so that we can have a little map going, and also the Plot Unfolding Machine companion app, which I've just found for solo role-playing. Looks pretty awesome. Anyway, this is the art from the game. Looks pretty awesome. Close that down. So this is PUM Companion. This is really awesome, actually. You can put a whole bunch of PDFs, like all your books in there. You can make character sheets, and this is just a PDF that you can type on. Here's a map that came with the book. That's Grey Hawkins. The first adventure that I'm going to do, I want to play through this whole thing if I don't die too much. The first adventure is called The Vanishing Gnome. I imagine that is the gnome who vanishes. Don't know too much about what's going on, but thought I'd kick off anyway. Let me just show you what I was talking about. If I click on this button, hopefully. Boom! You should now be able to see a map of the VTT. Now what I've done, I'll actually immediately minimize that again, is for a character, I have just grabbed one of the ones from the pre-made characters, kind of. So this is Nog the Dwarf. He's meant to be a cleric of Heronius. Wow, that's really pixelated, but that's just the detail, the quality they gave me. But a cleric is more or less a shepherd in Nimble. So I've copied across the stats as best I can. It's not exact because there's only 4 attributes and there's not as many abilities either. And then the equipment's not quite the same and the spells aren't quite the same. But you know what? Let's just do it. Who have I got to disappoint? It's only me. I'm the GM and the player. So anyway, Nog the Dwarf here. He's going to have some kind of adventure looking for this vanishing gnome. So let me get this VTT back up for you. I actually push the button, it works a lot better. You'll be able to see the dice rolls coming down the side here. See if I just roll a d20. There you go, so you can see that. And I'll just switch over my other screen so I can start reading this adventure here. I just bought the PDF. I'll probably get the box set at some point, but we'll just start here. Alright, so getting started. The Vanishing Gnome. Because I'm solo, I'm going to be reading ahead a bit sometimes. I might need to back and forth some things, but we'll do it as best we can. So the adventure background. So Fizzlebin, the Vanishing Gnome, tests the mettle of would-be heroes in dangerous games of hide-and-seek and dungeons throughout the land. Over the years, the elusive gnome has magically contacted countless travelers, but few have accepted his quests, and fewer have completed them. Successful seekers have emerged from these dungeons with priceless treasures and pockets brimming with gold. Recently, Fizzlebin vanished to the Dungeon of Shadows, a maze that borders a gloomy, monster-infested realm. There his calls to adventurers wakened a foul creature, a spawn of the demon lord Demogorgon. Big Stranger Thing vibes. As Fizzlebin eagerly broadcasts his request, the ravenous demon stalks the dungeon, complicating the gnome's game and endangering all who seek him. And I wonder if I can open this up, another thing. This is something I found quite cool. I've just copied a image from the VTT and I can just paste it in here, and then we can open this up. I minimize that again. So this is Fizzlebin. Now let's can I describe Fizzlebin? There you go. So now I've got this little record in my notes saying this is Fizzlebin. Delete that. You know what, for the meantime, until we actually need that map, let's put up... That's a cool image. Oh, you know what, let's put up this one for you. Right, so what's going to happen is apparently Fizzlebin is hiding in this dungeon somewhere, and I'm going to have to roll a d6 every time to figure out where he is. But we'll do that when we're actually looking for him. I won't roll it yet. So, Nog is wandering down the road. He's travelling a well-trod road through craggy and forested countryside, and as he passes a dense thicket, a little voice calls out to him exuberantly, Well met, adventurer. 'Tis I, Fizzlebin, the Vanishing Gnome, the illustrious vagabond, the emissary of evasion. I have sequestered myself deep in the fabled Dungeon of Shadows, where I wait with a magical reward for those who had proved themselves worthy. Find me, and the treasure is yours. Travel east to find the dungeon's entrance. Beware! Horrid creatures lurk within the dungeon's darkest corners. And so do I. The voice fades. Okay, well, you know what? Nog had nothing else to do today. Oh, that's a cool picture. Let me just get this copy. So we've got the Dungeon of Shadows. Entrance to the Dungeon of Shadows. So you can see that. Artwork's cool in this. Loving that. You know what, let's leave that up for the moment. So that's where we're at. So the Dungeon of Shadows is not something that description isn't really for the player. So Nog arrives at the entrance to this dungeon. Black briars grow around the entrance's mouth, which resembles a howling stone face. Past the opening, rough-hewn stairs descend into the darkness. Now you can actually, they suggest you do a couple of rolls. You can recall some lore about this, either through history or arcana. I don't know if our Nog has much of either. Let's see, arcana 0, lore none. Sure, why not? Let's roll a d20 and see if he gets it. Oh, what was the difficulty that they suggested? 12, so it's pretty standard. Roll a 7. Not going to do it. So he's thinking, and like he knows of Fizzlebin, and he knows of this, but then yeah, at the same time, what does he really need to know? He's a heroic and chivalrous cleric or shepherd, out to vanquish evil. Likely that evil's in there. There's someone who needs help in there. He's on his way. The details be damned. So he descends these stairs, and lo and behold, he gets into this room. The ceiling's, it's about 20 feet high to the roof. Sorry, yeah, 10 feet. The passageway is about 10 feet, but the room itself, it opens up to another 20 feet in total. The walls and doors are made of basalt. On the walls is sconces that fill the dungeon with a bright light. Sorry, torches in wall sconces. So it's all nicely lit. And you know what? Let's bring up that map now. I'll close this down so you can see my notes. And we'll bring up the map. Here we go. So there's Nog sitting there. And so as he enters, he goes down this into the cooler, darker chamber. Well, not darker because of the light, but you know, that tunnel is briefly cooler and darker. And as he gets to the bottom chamber, it opens out and he sees that there's 5 stone doors, each bearing a different image and inscription. So the torches in this chamber flicker with a faint, as a faint disembodied voice calls to him. I am pleased you have accepted my quest, says Fizzlebun. I am here, but I am not here. Find me and I shall reward you greatly, but be forewarned, you are not the only creature who seeks me in this accursed place. And almost as a reply to that, there's a monstrous roar that just echoes throughout the dungeon. Ooh. So now Fizzlebin is going to take a look at these 5 different doors and see what he sees. So each of the doors, it's adorned with a relief sculpture and also an inscription. So looking at these doors, we have got one that says, let me bring this up so I can see it properly. So one door says, or has a picture of a fuming urn, and it says the wastelands of filth. Actually, if I bring up that other little map, no, you can't see my mouse. Okay, so the one immediately to his left says wasteland of filth and has a picture of a fuming urn. The one next to that, so back left, when he's looking down the corridor, it bears a relief of a ferocious many-horned minotaur, hopefully only 2, around a stone, above a stone maze with the inscription Labyrinth of Doom. That doesn't sound promising. Door 4, which is the one at the back, so directly opposite him. In this relief, there's 3 mischievous creatures with pointed ears and sharp teeth surrounding an anvil. The inscription reads, Forge of Gibble Tracks. Back right, a spider web is etched into the door. The inscription reads, Den of Itzy. I do wonder what could be in there. And finally, immediately to his right, there's an image of a scowling bipedal hyenoid warrior, so a hyena type person, Knowles. And the inscription reads, Altar of Yinagu. Oh, well, there you go. So it's definitely Knowles. Honestly, of all of these, it's not that he's a coward, but he is happy to start somewhat slower. So I think what we're going to do is, I'll bring that map back up. I'm just looking at this like I am. Oh, if I close that by accident. There we go. So what he's going to do is he's going to, can I ping that? No, that doesn't ping at all, does it? What about if I try and ping it on the actual VTT? Ping. Aha, he's going to go for this door to the left. But he is going to take a moment to listen out at the door, see if he hears anything. So let's roll ourselves a perception, +2. 1d20. Roll. 6, 8. No, so he listens at the door. And you know what? On the other side, all sounds silent. Just kind of the last of that howling noise. Just it's kind of echoing in his ears still. And here's the flicker of the flames inside this corridor. So he pushes open the door, and I don't believe that. No. Okay, so it doesn't actually update that. I guess I'm going to have to unpaint the fog of war. As he moves into this room. So what is in here? The putrid stench hangs in this room. As he opens the door, it kind of immediately escapes like a vacuum when you pop a Tupperware that's has been too long. So gnawed bones, rotten food, and ancient junk litter the stone floor. There's just a whole bunch of crap in here, really. But he doesn't notice anything moving. He does make out that inside there are a number of urns in amongst the trash. He's just going to have a bit of a search around because, I mean, if there's urns, then maybe there's something worth looking for. Roll his perception again. D20, looking for 12. Wow, that's such a bad roll. I think, so he starts trying to sift through, and he's got his mace, and he's just kind of pushing at this rubbish. He doesn't want to get too close to it because it is just pretty rank smelling. I'll move that for you. And as such, he only half-heartedly, the smell begins to overwhelm him, so he's actually just going to pop back out of this room again. So then, just remembering, we had the Minotaur Labyrinth. We had the 3 mischievous people by a anvil. We had Itzy. And we had the Knolls. So I think the Minotaur sounds like trouble. You know what? He is going to try the mischievous people. Let's go over there. I'll just bring out the other screen, which has the GM side of it. Because I'm going to have to move all that stuff again. Just going to push open this door and let's get rid of some of this fog of war. See, the passageway goes around. Oh, you know what? The passageway goes to a door. You can see that. He's just going to carry on in. As he gets closer to this door, what he hears is there's a clanging noise coming from the other side. And being a dwarf, even though he's not actually a smith, he's known smiths. This isn't just stereotyping. He's had his armor repaired, that kind of thing. So he knows the sound of metalwork and smithing. And he hears that on the other side of the door. So he's just going to very gingerly push it open. And as he does, the sound intensifies. The clanging of hammers rings out in the sweltering space. The heat comes out. It's like a wave that goes over his face. That's such a cliched description. Like pouring over his face, this heat. 3 goblin smiths cluster around a glowing forge in the center of the room. The goblins sing scratchy tones as they work. Deep within the dungeons of shadows, we strengthen steel to slay the beasts. Upside down in the veil of shadows, brave heroes delve to keep us free. Don't actually sound like bad guys, do they? Deep within dungeons of shadows, we strengthen steel to slay the beasts. Upside down in the veil of shadows, brave heroes delve to keep us free. So they sound like good guys. Okay, he's not going to attack immediately. He is going to have his shield ready, and his mace ready, but he's going to come in with his shield and announce himself. You know what? Let's also fix the map so that we can all see what I'm talking about. Now I should try and get some cool rock music to go over the top of this video, just because Stranger Things, 80s and all. So there's 3 goblin warriors. What? They're not goblin warriors. Well, they are goblin warriors. 3 goblins. What I'm doing is I have one screen which is the GM, and one screen which is the player. So here we go. This is what he sees. There's a forge and there's 3 goblins working around it. So, as I say, he announces himself and he's, I mean you no harm, but I am not afraid to defend myself. Who are you? And they all turn and they're like, they introduce themselves as Blech, Gib, and Trax. I wonder if that relates to anything in Stranger Things. I can't recall, actually. And they explain that, look, we are smiths here, and we craft gear to defend against the threats of the dungeon, which, that's absolutely up Nog's alley. He's like, well, I'm here to find Fizzlebin, the gnome, who apparently is hiding somewhere. Oh, and actually, we should probably roll to see if Fizzlebin is hiding in this room. Is this one of the ones potentially? Oh, I was meant to roll in the last room as well. So let's roll a d6. If I roll a 1 in the last room, that's where he was. Nope. Now I'm going to roll again to see whether he is in this room. So this room is number... Oh, wait. And was he in the second room? Four? That's also not what I wanted. So is he in this room? D6. I'm kind of doing a process of elimination. No, this room is a 4, so he's going to be in one of the remaining 3 rooms. That's easy enough then. Don't have to retcon that I accidentally spoke to him already. And anyway, so these goblins say, no, we haven't seen him. We don't know where he is. But we've got our own problems at the moment with these gnolls over in the Shrine of Ynogu. What do they call that room? The Altar of Ynogu. Like, yes, there's 3 gnolls over there, and they caused us some issues. They have this doing some kind of evil ritual which threatens this forge, this blessed magical forge. You see, it is magical. We can actually use this forge to imbue regular weapons with magic. So their altar is kind of the antithesis of this. And you know what? I think that Nog, being the upright kind of guy that he is, says, well, look, I can deal with these gnolls for you if they're threatening this altar. He's just trusting that these goblins are telling the truth. And you know what? They've been quite friendly so far. He's a simple man. He's just going to believe them. And he says, you mentioned that you can imbue weapons with magic. And they say, yes, we can. And we will for you as well. However, first of all, we need to show that you're a pure heart. If you would deal with these gnolls for us, then we will imbue your weapon with magic and the heat of the forge. And you know what? Nog is down with that. He said, okay, well, look, I will go and deal with them. Oh, you know what? I've got a little picture. Maybe I can copy this. And close that down, you can see that image as well. The 3 goblins working on their forge. And they say, okay, well, look, come back when you're done and we will work with you on that. So he's going to head back down and then he's going to head into the door, which was immediately to the right, the Altar of Yeenoghu. I'll just move that over on the map here. You can keep looking at this picture because it's pretty cool. And let me just move Nog in as well. Make sure that this other map is all updated with where he's at. Get rid of that. Put that back on. I should probably just hotkey that somehow. Right, so Nog has gotten to this point. He's gone through the door that said Altar of Yeenoghu. But what he's found is actually 3 doors, which was a little misleading. But look, the door immediately to his left, he figures is so close to the other room, the Den of Itzi, that might be what that is. But he will listen in against one of these doors, and let's do his d20. 13 plus 2, sorry, just 13. Oh no, 13 plus 2, his perception is 2. Yeah, so he listens at the door, and so what does he hear on the other side? So he's hearing chanting. It's hard to make out, but he does hear the word, the name Yeenoghu, and it does sound like multiple voices are in there. And so he's just very, and he actually, I'm going to say he listens to both doors, similar noise coming out from either. So what he's going to do is he's going to actually just go in this closest door here. Just going to carefully creak it open and try and stealth into the room, in fact. It'd be great if they had Fog of War built in here, but I guess they don't. So as he slowly opens this door, okay, there's the Fog of War done. Oh, there is the things inside. Let's move them up. So he peeks through the door and he can see these 3 gnolls, and I'm going to have to roll his stealth, which is -1, unfortunately. 14. Yeah, let's just roll a d20, see if they get more than him for perception. No. Okay, so what I'm saying is that he manages to push this door open and peek in, and he can see in before, and hasn't been noticed by these creatures. So what he sees is in this square chamber, 3 Hynoid warriors, 3 gnolls, kneeling before an altar bearing a wicked-looking flail. 2 of the creatures cackle maniacally as the third, the mangiest of the 3, who's nearly devoid of all hair, chants, Yeenoghu, hear our laughter and let there be bloodshed and butchery. The flail glows with a sickly light. So what I'm going to say is he is going to take a surprise round. Yeah, I'm down with that. And I'm going to say that he's got a couple of spells. And he might cast one of them. I think he's going to cast his Shadow Blast. So shepherds in this game, they get Radiant and they get Necromantic. Well, not Necromantic. What is the term that they use? Do they use a term? Necrotic. So he's got Shadow Blast, which will do a range of 8 and do 1d12 plus his key stat worth of damage, which in this case is 2. And he's definitely close enough. So he's going to blast this, the tallest one, the one that was nearly devoid of all hair. So one of the cool things again with Nimble is that you don't actually roll to attack, you just roll to see if you do damage. So 1d12. How much damage does he do? Oh, and because I'm playing solo, I'm going to say that enemies don't crit. Just to try and keep me alive that little bit longer. So there's 5 damage to that gnoll. And I have no idea how much health those gnolls actually have, so let's find that out. Gnoll has 27. Pen and paper time. Imagine if I'd had pen and paper earlier. 27, but then less 5, so he's on 22. That's still quite a lot of health, I'm not going to lie. Right, so now we're going to roll initiative. This is to see how many actions he's going to have in this first round of combat. He rolled a 1, so he gets 1 action this round of combat. And what he's going to do is he's going to launch another Shadow Blast, I think, at that thing. He's going to stand at the door and he is going to Shadow Blast it. He's going to move back a tiny bit as well, just so that... Oh, he's going to Shadow Blast and then he's going to move. No, wait, you only get 3 actions. So he's going to Shadow Blast at this doorway where he was standing. Through, kind of pushes it open. Anyway, just roll the dice. 1d12 gets a 10. That's much better. The creature howls with pain as this kind of dark fire courses over its body, singes, and the starts to almost rot. The skin dying instantly as it gets hit. Just looks like a burn, but not made of fire. But now the creatures each have a turn. So they're going to run over and they're going to attack. Yeah. Only 2 can actually get close enough to attack. So what I'm going to say is, what is their stat again? They have a attack roll +4 for 1d6 + 2. Right, so I'm going to roll 2 1d6 and +2. 1, 2. Oh, sorry, +4, I should say. 4 + 4 is 8 in total. He is going to use one of his actions from the next round to defend, and he has armor rating of 7. So it's going to take it down. So took 1 hit from this. I'm looking at his character sheet. You can't necessarily see that. Round refreshes. He has 2 actions. He's going to take the first. He is going to, now that they're in combat, swing again at that bloodied one. This time with his rusty mace. Not his rusty mace, he's wearing rusty mail. He swings with his regular mace, which is 1d6 + 2 damage, because he has 2 strength. Roll. 1, that's awful, that's a fumble. Now I just need to grab the fumble rules because I hadn't expected to do that. If you roll a 1, you miss. I'm thinking of other games that have fumbles, so getting ahead of myself. He can do another attack with his second action, which would be at a disadvantage. So I roll his 2d6 and then the first one, I take the lower of the 2. So I rolled a 2 and a 5, so he can do 2 + 4. Oh, this is all behind my head. Oh no, you can just see it if I lean to one side, this side. So 4 damage onto that gnoll again. Now I think what we're going to have is that these gnoll, in fact, that one is going to try and run around. He's not quite going to get to him in time. But these other 2 will attack again. So again, 2d6. A 2 and a 4, 6 in total, 10. He is going to take this opportunity to, again, gets his shield up. And as these things are trying to strike him through the door, he's just kind of pushing them back with his wooden buckler and also like prodding them with a mace so that they can't get a good hit on him. But he will, as I say, that was 10 damage total, less than 7 for his armor. So that's going to leave him with 3. And I'll just show you what I'm doing over here. You could do this on a bit of paper and a pen, even, but Nog the Dwarf. This is a cool thing I'm finding about PUM is that you can just change these things on the fly here. So 3 more damage, 13 out of 17. This is not necessarily going well for him, but that's where we're at. Now it's his turn again. He's used 2 actions, so the next one is again going to be... I know what he's going to do. He's going to do 1 more attack against that leader. There's d6. 5 + 2, 7 damage. So what happens is, the way that he took that 3 damage is, he's pushing them back with his mace. He's pushing out with the buckler. He hears the door to the right. Knows that other gnoll is coming. So he pushes back one of the 2 normal hairier gnolls, not the leader one, and makes it look like there's an opening. He feints effectively. And as that gnoll comes in, it does strike him with its claw, but it has brought itself far enough forward that he then swings with his mace at its face, cracks it, knocks it completely down, and as it falls, he is going to... So it is now dead. How can I make that show as dead game? Maybe if I just hide it. And then he's going to fall back to this door. Right, and lo and behold, unsurprisingly, these creatures are going to run in after him. Oh, I'm not even showing the camera anymore. There we go. So these creatures are going to run in. This one is baying for blood. Gets in the way of this other, the one that run around. So it's still going to do its attack, 1d6. 1, so it misses. It's too busy. Maybe it bumps into the other gnoll. They're both scrabbling to try and be the first ones to get in and attack him. They've whipped into a bit of a frenzy, seeing how the other gnoll was killed. And in the fluster, he manages to fend off the clumsy attackers. This thing it's half fighting with the other one, just trying to get at him. He has now got a chance to do something, and he is going to... yes, he's going to... Well, let's strike with the mace. It is a bit tried and true. 5 plus 2 is 7. And the creature returns strike. Strikes it with the mace. Again, the creature is coming in at the same time that he is striking, and so the momentum of his mace knocks it off balance. It stumbles, momentarily dazed, and loses the opportunity to attack as he kind of caught it mid-bite. It was trying to bite onto his arm. Again, he's going to follow up. Oh, he didn't even have to use his second action, his defense action. That's cool. He's going to attack the first time. Rolling 4 plus 2 is 6. But this time he's going to come through and he's going to try and actually do a second attack as well. Taking the lower dice. 3 for another 5. So this creature's off balance and he uses one sweep low on its leg to strike it in the knee. And as it kind of ducks down, he's then going to back swing with the mace and catch it in the arm. But the creature does have a chance to attack. Maybe he's extended his arm a little too far. Oh no, the creature is so dazed. I had one more action I didn't use. Okay. This creature really needs to get out of the way because it's just making itself a target. In fact, it's still staggered from those 2 swings that he does one final sweep upwards, catches it under the chin, lifts it off the ground, and it flies back and is actually vanquished, which is really lucky for him. He's going to use one movement to step forward, and then he is going to make a disadvantage attack against the second one. I rolled a 5 and a 5. 7 damage to that one. This creature, it's looking a little panicked. It's just seen 2 people taken down, but unfortunately doesn't have necessarily a lot of space to go, so it will try and bite at him. This 4 damage in total, which he, as it bites, he kind of just jams the edge of his buckler into its teeth, so it bites down. The wood bends, like it actually makes a dent on the wood as the teeth marks bite through, but he doesn't sustain damage himself. So he gets 1 attack with 6 in total. Oh, the second attack is a crit. I rolled the maximum damage. I rolled 2 6s, which is pretty neat. Can I show that? View. 6 and a 6. Oh wait, you can't actually see that because I've got the thing in the way. Haha, 6 and a 6. As I said. So I get to roll another d6 and add that to the damage. And it's another 6. So I get to roll another d6. And a 2. So 6 and 6 is 12, and 2 is 14, and another 2 for strength, 16. So as the creature has bitten into his shield, yeah, he's just going to come in over the top with his mace. This is gruesome, I'm sorry. And just smash it on the head, like kind of pulls it forward so it's off balance and just strikes it in the dome. And with a shudder, the creature just slumps to the ground on top of the corpse of its companion. Wow, okay. That worked out better than I had expected. There's something to be said for a timely crit. And as the room goes still, he's going to go back, or as the hallway goes quiet, he's going to return back into the room. Keep changing these maps so that the view is good. Oh, you can hold space to pan? Really? Oh, that's neat. Okay, live and learn. If you're playing on the D&D Beyond VTT, you can just hold down the space bar and you can move the map around. Neat. Okay, so what's he seeing now? So the flail glows with a sickly light. But you know what? He's dealt with the gnolls. Gingerly reach out for this mace. And he takes it. And nothing bad happens. He hefts it in his hand and finds it. Oh, sorry, this flail. The flail it's actually quite well weighted. And so this is a +1 flail. And I can't even remember whether there's flails in Nimble. I feel like they're the same as maces. Let me just look that up. Mace. Yeah, they don't talk about flails in particular, so I'm just going to say that it is the same as a mace. So 1d6 plus strength, but we're also going to say +1. Okay, sweet. Let's write that on his character sheet. +1 flail. This will be good evidence when he goes to see the goblins that he has in fact defeated them. Not the goblins, defeated the gnolls. Where are those gobblers? Alright, so he returns to them and explains the situation, and they say, oh, they're very grateful. And they explain that what they can do is they can dip his weapon into the furnace, into the forge. It won't actually destroy the weapon, but what it will do is it will coat it for a short time, 10 minutes, but it'll put the heat of the forge into it. And so the next strike that's made within these 10 minutes will carry the blessing of the forge with it. And so he's got the mace, he's got the flail. I think what we'll do is we will, yeah. I guess it's also a bit of a cleansing feeling. So he's going to ask them to dip the flail into this forge. And they do. At the end, the ball is molten. And they thank him again for dealing with the gnolls. And, you know, he's going to actually ask them, do they know much about the other rooms? He heard of a minotaur in a maze, and he heard about Itzy. And I think they'll know that enough that, Itzy is a giant spider. And then also, yes, there is the minotaur. And is there anything else they can tell us about that? Oh, you know what? Let's... Ooh. I'm going to roll something here. Just do a chance dice. 10 plus... Oh, sorry, 11 plus is good. 17, yep, so it's a pretty strong result. So they actually know something else. They say, hey, look, it's not just the minotaur that you need to worry about inside the labyrinth. Whoever created the labyrinth also put in traps to try and catch people out. So just be wary of those. We're not entirely sure what they are. We don't go in there ourselves. But, this is the best that we can do to help you in return for helping us. And Nog is... No, that's fine for a Nog. So I guess... Yes, no, is there a particular order that you think I should deal with it? Is the Minotaur or the Spider worse? And they're going to say, actually, the Spider is... Sorry, the Minotaur is worse. And I also just remembered I didn't roll to see if that guy was in the room. 5. I think there was. Okay, so we're just going to retcon a little bit. So what happened was when he was inside the room, the altar of Yunogu, he hears something. A voice, a disembodied voice says, "Ah, you found my hiding spot, but your work isn't done yet. To claim your prize, you must slay the horrid creature that hunts me." And then it's silent. And he asks, "Yeah, what is this creature? Where is this creature?" But the voice doesn't reply. So now he's thinking, maybe the spider is the thing that's hunting him. Fingers crossed. So he's going to head back to that room. Oh, hold down space. Move the map. And he's going to open up this door and see what he can see. Right, so where's the info on this one, right? Den of Itzy. So thick, sticky webs cover this once regal chamber. Skeletons encased in cocoons hang from webs on the ceiling as grim warnings to all who enter. A cobweb statue of an 8-foot tall, very tall, armor-clad knight presides over the chamber. Before it is a stone pedestal, atop which rests a shimmering crystal spider roughly 5 feet in diameter. A fiery greatsword burns within the crystal spider's body, casting a warm orange glow on the tangled nest. So, speaking to the goblins, he's not fooled into thinking that the Itzy that they talk about is actually this little spider statue. He knows that there is a much larger spider somewhere. And again, there's these webs. It's not like this, or maybe this creature could have come to life, but he knows that that's not it. So he is actually just going to peer around, see if he can find where it's hiding. 13 plus 2. Yes. So what he notices is, there's all these cobwebs throughout the room. However, the way that they have been kind of bunched up, he suspects that actually the creature is hiding in the back right corner. He's not going to let on too much that he suspects it's there, because he doesn't want to let it know and kind of drive it to action. I think what Nog's going to do is he is going to just walk back out of the room, and he's going to grab one of the torches from the sconces. And then he's just going to hiff it into this room. And I'm just going to roll a d20, 10. So some of the cobwebs do start to catch a light. And he's just going to keep staying outside because, well, he knows that something's in there. And lo and behold, down from the corner of the room, a creature begins to descend at quite a speed and will actually rush towards the door to try and get through to him. Can I click on this? This is cool art. Now, as it's rushing through, it's smothering a lot of the fire. So the fire is spreading to a degree, but also this creature, as it's passing through, it's more or less just smothering it with its body. So it's not like it's necessarily going to burn the entire place down right now. But as it's coming, let's roll for initiative. So a d20 here from old Nog. Hopefully not a 1 again. 6, might as well be a 1. So he is going to get 1 action, and he is going to use, as this creature is coming at him, and I should probably just find the stats of this creature. We're about to fight it. AC 14. Let me just check this conversion guide. 14 counts as medium armor. Yeah, that's annoying. So with medium armor, the creature only takes damage only from the dice, so ignores the modifier. So he's not going to get his normal strength plus 2. But anyway, as it's come in, he's going to cast a spell. And I'm going to say he's going to cast... No, I guess he's just going to do a Shadow Blast again. So he draws... there's the dichotomy inside of everyone. And he's going to draw on the darkness, which you have to accept to be... you understand and you accept this darkness so you can overcome it as a shepherd. But he's going to call on this darkness and launches another Shadow Blast, which is 1d12 damage. But not 1d12 plus 2. 1, in fact, so he fires it off. But this creature is surprisingly fast for its size. Draws in on him quite quickly, and so engages him in combat. What attack can this creature do? It has got a bite, which is 1d8 plus 3. Ooh. 3 plus 3. So he's going to use one action. Again, this creature comes in and it scuttles through, rears up, and immediately comes down with its 2 large fangs, and he just shoves the wooden buckler in the way. This huge thud is the impact of this creature on the shield. However, it does hold, and he is quite glad that didn't land on bare skin. On his turn, he's going to return the favor with his flail, which is +1, which we will count because magical. But also it gets whatever that bonus was for the forge. 1d6 fire damage. Sweet. Let's roll the dice for it. We'll roll the 2d6 now. And if the first d6 is a 6, then we can take that as a crit. That was a 6. So we get a crit. So let's roll another d6. 5. So 2, 5, and 6 for 13 in total. That's a good start. I mean, it would have been a good start if he had actually hit the spider in the first place. But we weren't at that stage. This thing has that many. Minus 13. Immediately, as it bites down, he's just going to swing the flail, which is a little bit new for him, but he's going to swing it. There's enough legs that he catches it, and just one of the legs buckles completely with a sickening crack, and he knows that leg is not going to be functional. The creature springs back. Oh, he's still got a second action, which he's going to make an attack. It's a disadvantage. So he rolls a 1. So, he swings and he's going to swing again, but the creature has scuttled back. Maybe it wasn't quite prepared for him, but now it's managed to get up to speed. The creature's going to return with its bite. A 2 plus, I forget what I said, 5 for 7. And again, he is going to use one of his actions to block. And it's a matter of, this time he's trying to get the buckler in the way, but the creature pushes through and actually jams him up against the wall at the same time. And he can feel the compression on his mail, but thankfully, even though it's rusty mail, he can brace himself enough that he's not crushed, and then the fangs themselves don't actually break it through. It was a little too risky. He gets his attack, d6 roll. Can you, okay, so I swear I'm not cheating. This is crazy though, because I rolled another 6. I'm just going to show that 6. Look, dice roll of 6, another crit. Love it. Love to see it. Yeah, so I've just got my rule book up there. Go back to Nog. You know what? Let's give you the other screen as well. Oh, actually, no. And another 6. One more 6. 2. Okay. So 6, a 6, and a 2 for 14 damage. As he's getting crushed through, what he's going to do is he's going to switch, actually. And so he's going to throw his feet out and underneath himself and use the momentum of the creature that's pushing against him so that it pushes itself into the wall. As he's underneath it, he's just going to jam up. There was a lot of spiky bits on this flail, and he's just going to jam into the soft underbelly. And it turns out it's an incredibly soft underbelly. So he punches straight through the soft carapace, manages to find one of the little gaps. The insides of the spider collapse over him in this stinking heap, and he only just manages to roll out of the way as the whole body crashes down. And lo and behold, it rolls onto its back and all its little legs, like, and I guess this is meant for level 1. I'm like, how did he just kill that? But then it's meant for level 1s, and I see I've just rolled a ridiculous amount of d6s, ridiculous amount of 6s. Yeah, and the creature shudders and is still. That's cool. So now he's going to move into the room and examine the statue. Yeah, we'll look at the statue first. So let's do an investigation roll. His investigation is, oh, you know what? Let's move him on the map first. So that big old thing is gone. Minimize you. Let's move you in. Right, so his investigation is, oh, which is the conversion for investigation? His examination. I should have known that, actually. So 0. Great. 8. No, so he's looking at the statue. What details can he get at all? No, it looks like a knight. And it looks like a brave knight. The purpose of the knight? There's no markings that he finds identifiable. And it really is just a large knight statue. And also, as he's looking at it, his eyes keep getting drawn to this crystal spider. It's a large spider. And as I said, inside, a fiery greatsword burns. So it's like a 5-foot spider with a fiery sword inside of it. And I think, you know what he's going to do is he's just going to smash the spider. And it's got stats for attacking it. But, I mean, the actual problem spider is gone. So he can take his time. He's just going to go ham with this flail. And bit by bit, chunks start coming off. Legs, the head, the body. It looks, it's not unlike that actual giant spider itself. Until finally, he can free this thing inside, which is a flame tongue greatsword. So whilst holding this magic item, you can take a bonus action and use command word to cause flame to engulf the damage dealing part. Sheds bright light and 40 foot and dim light for an additional 40. Whilst it's ablaze, it deals extra 2d6 fire damage on hit. Fire lasts until you take a bonus action to issue the command again, stow it, drop it, or sheath the weapon. Interesting. It's a two-hander, so he could use it, but he wouldn't use his sword. But I wonder whether... I hadn't actually thought about what other weapons this wee chappie can use. I'm just going to look up the rules for heroes and whether he can even use a giant sword. Weapons, strength weapons and wands. Okay, that's broad. But then again, part of the joy of Nimble is that a lot of these rules are broad. Strength weapon, great sword, strength. Boom, okay, he can use this. It's 3d4. Whoa, this is great. 3d4 plus 2d6. I'm going to write this on his character sheet. That's awesome. So I'm going to say that his shield is gone now. He has to kind of stow his buckler, which hopefully doesn't come back to kick us in the ass. But at the same time, he's now got this giant, great, flaming greatsword. Oh, yes. Awesome. Anyway, am I excited to get a magic weapon? Yes. So I guess now it's just got to deal with that. Oops. Space. Need to deal with that Minotaur. I wonder whether maybe he'll take a quick little rest first. So he's going to, I think, do a field rest. Catch his breath for 10 minutes. Expend his hit points die, roll them, add your strength, gain that many hit points. So Nog has got hit point die of 1d10. Strength is 2. Total of 3. Such an awful roll. But he gets 3 hit points back, which puts him back to 16 out of 17. It's not awful. It's better than it was. But now we're going to open up this room. Now he is going to be quite careful. He's going to fire up the sword, first of all. So now it's big flaming sword. And he's, I think, just going to carefully prod ahead of him. He's going to quite take his time going through here. As far as he knows, this is the last room. So there is... Actually, yeah, that's a good point. He's going to go back. He's going to double check that this is not... That was not the creature that he wanted. And lo and behold, going back to the room, he's like, I slayed the creature that was... Well, I believe I slayed the creature that was hunting you. And the voice is, no, it still hunts after... it still searches for me. It's like, okie doke. So anyway, he's going back in here and he's being very careful. He's got the flaming sword, so he will be more visible and he's aware of that. However, he also, 1, wants a bit of light. And 2, there's a minotaur, isn't there? So the torches along the wall of this maze begin to flicker, and the familiar disembodied voice says, many adventurers have met their demise in these corridors. Beware the fearsome minotaur. So let's give him a perception roll. And I'll be happy to say that he's... I mean, I almost want to just give it to him because he's being careful, but let's just see what happens. 11 plus 2, 13. Yeah, so it's not as much as you would need, but I'm actually just... I'm the GM. I can do these kind of things. I'm saying that because he's prodding away, you know, he's being very careful, prodding at the floor, looking at the walls. He does eventually get to a point where he is prodding and he notices that there is a pressure plate. And he investigates around the area of this pressure plate, and let's just move him to where that is on the map. Lo and behold, you know, he also sees this various bits of body parts. Someone has died in this spot, which makes him extra cautious. And so seeking around, he finds that there is holes in the wall that appear that something will potentially pop up. And so he makes sure that he is well back from this, checks both walls, kind of from a distance marks out the edge of that plate, and then prods, you know, maybe it's with his mace at arm's reach, or some kind of debris from one of the other rooms. But lo and behold, pushes pressure plate and spears thrust out from the walls. Would have absolutely smashed him if he had been in there, but thankfully he's not. So he now knows what the trap looks like, or at least what this trap looks like. And as soon as it's come out, it resets again. But now he is just going to very carefully work his way across. But unfortunately he comes to an intersection, and I think he's going to stay left at this time. Alright, so he's going to continue through, carefully still checking for more traps, which, upon going around this corner, suspects that there's another one here. And lo and behold, there is. I'm actually just going to do a quick perception check for something. 17. So, as much as he's looking at this and he goes, oh, another trap, excellent, and sees the holes in the wall again for more spears, so he understands how this works. Up ahead of him, he can hear some kind of strange sound. It's like a snapping and a squishing sound. So he is going to very cautiously move forward. So he's going to go over that trap very carefully. And he hears the sound coming from north. And in fact, what he can see is, as he gets to here, comes around this corner. So the torches in this bloodstained corridor sputter erratically. And a thin, sinewy creature with slimy grey skin and elongated limbs crouches over a slain minotaur. The corpse squelches and snaps unsettlingly as the creature gorges on it. A small chest lies beside the mangled minotaur, and there's actually a picture, so let's just grab this copy and post. And then get rid of this thing so you guys can see it. So we all know this. Anyone that's seen Stranger Things knows this creature with its little petal face, the Demogorgon, feasting on this Minotaur. I'm probably not stronger than a Minotaur, so we may have issues. I'm glad I stopped for that quick health check. Let's bring that map back up again. So this Minotaur, Minotaur's not doing much. So it's devouring the Minotaur. It's devouring the Minotaur unless it detects me. And I think the point is he's got a giant flaming greatsword, so stealth is not an option. You know, I feel like this creature turns, and the creature looks up as much as it can. And its faceless head peels back to reveal these 5-toothed fleshy petals around a gaping mouth. It screeches and rushes towards poor old Nog. So we're going to do initiative. 11, actually. So, oh no, 10. So this is good. This means that he actually gets 2 actions this round as the Demogorgon closes in on him. So yeah, he's going to... I know he is going to... I've thought of something. First of all, I'm going to see what the stats on the Demogorgon are, because does it have armor, that kind of thing. It has a AC of 15, yeah, so it counts as medium armor. And then it has 2 attacks, which are D6 plus 3. Just noting these down. Okay, so what he's going to do is, once again, draw upon that shadow that's inside of him, this darker side that he's trying to overcome, but he will draw on its energy and fire off a Shadow Blast for 1d12, which is a crit, and I love to see that happen. Again, because it's got medium armor, it doesn't get to do the +2, but anyway, crit plus 11, so 23 damage. That's a mighty start. 21. Yay, good work, mate. Oops, space. So he sees that, and then he's going to actually leap backwards over this panel and prepare himself for the creature to come in. You know, better living, everyone. What he sees, though, as he spins around, is that the Demogorgon actually takes off. Interesting. Where does it take off to, though? It takes off down the corridor. So on his turn, he's going to run back after it, I guess. I'm still on the pan tool. So leaping back over this, and he can see this creature. There's that. See this creature heading down. So he's chasing after it. And, you know, I'm just going to say that he sees in time to see this creature go through a passageway which he had not actually noticed before. Not just because he hasn't been there, but then almost as soon as the creature has gone through, the wall seems to just close back in on itself. And he wouldn't have probably known that there was something there. Oh, I forgot to do the... Oh no, I didn't do the flame damage because I didn't hit it with the flames. Easy. Okay, so that's probably the creature that he needs to kill. Well, I guess he's got to go through this door. Okay, so very cautiously he opens it up and walks through. And now that means I just need to switch over the maps. Oh, this map hasn't even updated. He's over here anyway. And the creature escaped out of here. There's a secret passage. I wonder why that doesn't update. Oh, good to know. So now he finds himself over here, I believe. Let me just line this up. Sorry, there's a whole nother map because, you know, the whole thing about Stranger Things is that there's like the upside down. So this is him going into the upside down. So where is this? Now clouds of spore drift through this area. It looks like the maze, except overgrown with fungi and foot-tall mushrooms that sprout from the floor and walls. Now to one side, he can see this large fungus, which is, what is it going to do? So he's got the flaming sword. So his bright light effectively walks in, and what looks like a mushroom just begins to shriek, which is very awkward. Now inside of here, unlike the other one which was lit with torches, there is no torches in here. But otherwise it looks very much the same. Well, sorry, the same layout, what he's seeing, as to where he just came in, except of course with all these extra growths and the fact that it's very dark. And all these fungal spores and this shrieking mushroom thing. So he is actually going to hear... yes, so he hears the sound of movement coming from southwest of where he is. And coming into view are two large myconids, and they don't look pleased to see him. And lo and behold, another combat. D&D is so combat heavy. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like combat. Right, so he goes first, he gets one action, and he's going to use it to swing at this this adult myconid, which I need the stats of so I can actually figure out. It has an AC of 12, so it has no armor. I don't know, a heck of a lot of hit points either. Not bothered by fire damage any more than usual. Okay, so anyway, he's going to swing with his sword. The first dice is going to be the one to note the critical, whatever the first dice comes up with. So 1, 2, 3, D4, and then 2D6. So a total of 12 plus his strength of 2, 14 damage. Yeah, so he hits this adult myconid as, you know, it's rushing towards him. And he kind of readies himself with the greatsword. This creature is still shrieking to one side, but very much it's staying there, so he's more preoccupied with this creature rushing at him. And the first, he just comes through with a strike through the middle, as it's reaching out to try and grab him, the running myconid, and just slices it in half, effectively. 2 burning chunks fall down on either side. So what I'll do is I'll delete the one behind it and just say that this one in front ran forwards. And it's going to go right up next to him. And it will attack, what kind of attack does it have? 1d8 plus 3. Oh no, 1d8. 1, okay. So maybe, as much as it doesn't have an aversion to fire, it does have some kind of instinct to say that, well, this is not necessarily a great situation. The first one of our people just got chopped in half. This person's got a flaming sword and he's reeling back for another attack. So this moment of hesitation gives an opportunity to Nog, who rolled a crit because that first one was a 4. So roll that again. 8, 20. Yeah, okay, so that moment of hesitation is enough for him to just drive forward with the sword, impaling the creature and pinning it to a wall for a moment as the fire engulfs it. And it dies noiselessly, not completely unlike the Shrieker, which is still cooking off in the corner. Now, he's going to try and remember the way that he came. He went down this way. Because he's like, okay, so this looks like the same place, but upside down. Oh, sorry, the same place, but back to front. So we can see. And lo and behold, there is the chest. He didn't look in the chest before. Can I look in the chest now? Was that opportunity gone? Contains a broken sword, a broken wand, sorry, and 25 gold pieces. So we'll take the 25 gold. I'll just put a note there, 25 gold. Now, I'm just going to take a moment to talk about PUM, this program that I'm using. Let me just get rid of D&D Beyond again. So as much as you can do things like have your pictures, your character sheets which you can write on, have your PDFs, and then just a general overview of the whole thing. I like using it as a dice roller. That's one of the things I really enjoy about VTTs is kind of get out of my way but handle the mechanics for me. It does, on the other hand, have this thing, oracles. So this is really great for solo role playing where you can be like, oh, how difficult is something? And I'll just click on that. And it's about as difficult as expected. But, where is something? Or, tell me about this place and it's been abandoned or destroyed. So this is really great if I was making this story up, not rolling a... Well, sorry, you can still use it for a prepared game, but it really shines when you're just kind of opening it up to, making yourself open to whatever the next scene is and uncovering and discovering as you go. I'm very excited to start using it, but before I use it properly in that regards, using all the oracles, and I've put in a whole bunch for various games that I want to play, I got this game and I mean, I enjoy playing D&D, believe it or not. I'm not anti-D&D, I'm just pro every other game as well. And like I say, getting dicey, we're playing Rime of the Frost Maiden on Mondays, so come join us. Okay, back to. So he got his 25 gold, and he's going to pick his way back through to where he was. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, unless something happens, and he's going to keep an eye out for those traps again. I'm just going to get rid of all this stuff. Until he moves into this room. And then I might have to move this whole thing down. There we go. So the equivalent of that first room eraser. Oh, except the stairs on this one are boarded up. Can't get in. Okay, where's the description? What's happening? What are we seeing? So this eerie chamber has 5 stone doors, each bearing a vile image and inscription. A dead dwarf is slumped in a shadowy corner. The corpse clutches a torn sheet of parchment in its stiff hand. Near the dwarf, a stone staircase blocked by rubble ascends into darkness. I imagine that's our poor dwarf in the bottom left there. So this room itself, let's have a quick description maybe. So again, it's the same deal, about 20 feet high. Those corridors were 10 feet high. It's unlit this time. There are the sconces in the wall. There's no torches in them. And it's made of the same material, but there's also this kind of like drifting, almost dust everywhere. But thankfully he's got this flaming sword, which is proving a very useful light source. So let's look and see what these 5 doors say. Oh, actually, sorry. Let's first of all look at the dwarf and see what his note says. Oh, cool. And there's actually a picture, so I can copy the picture and go, note on dead dwarf in... And if I close that down and I open this up. So it says, if another should find this note, take heed. This is not the realm you know. Do not be fooled by the familiar corridors or the forsaken place of this forsaken place, where shadows strangle their masters. Evil dwells here. I have lost the way. My companions are dead. I fear I will join them soon. Leave this place at once if you still can. So looking at this dwarf, he's going to roll to see if he can figure out how this dwarf died. 20. Okay, yep, no, there we go. So this is a Arcana roll. So what you can see, this dwarf's body's unnaturally thin. Clothes look way too big for it. What it appears is that the life of this creature has been drawn out of it through some supernatural fashion. Not like exsanguination, but like the strength itself was taken from it. And he recognizes this as something that would happen from a shadow. And almost as he thinks of this, his instincts kick in, and he steps back, and lo and behold, rising from the dwarf's corpse is a shadow. Ugh. Fight, fight, fight. AC 12. And it does 1d6, so I'm just copying down some things. 20 resistance to fire, that's awkward. And it does 1d6 plus 2. It's good to have a little bit of paper and a pen with you when you're writing. Right, so what happens is this creature is going to... Oh wait, sorry, we have to roll for initiative. Getting behind myself? Oh, do I even have a token for a shadow? Yeah. We'll say you're over there as well. This is steps back in time from this creature. So, initiative. Please not a 1 for once. 5. Why not? He gets 1 move. He knows of shadows. And so what he knows is that they, very quickly processes is that flame is not the greatest thing, but radiance is pretty good. And so he, as much as he's been drawing on the darker side of himself that he's been trying to conquer, now he's going to tap into that connection that he has to the spiritual realm as he casts Rebuke, which does 1d6 damage, but is doubled against undead or cowardly or frightened things. Does this count as undead? Surely. Yes, medium undead. Easy. There you go. So what did I say? 1d6. Come on, 6. Been doing it, so I believe it's possible. 4. 4 plus 2, so 6. And then doubled 12 damage. Good start, my friend. He steps back, and it's the whole moment is actually, it's taken me a while to describe it. He looks and he's examining the body and how the life force has been taken out, but it's not just... From a distance, you might have thought that the corpse had just kind of shriveled as they do when they dry out after death, but then he thought, no, this is unnatural, the way that it's been... The life has been removed from it. And in his mind, he thought, shadows, and he leapt back and at the same time started drawing on this righteous energy as this creature comes out of the body, and he lets forward this rebuke. And a blinding flash of light over the creature. Its face contorts. And that was his action. So now the creature itself is going to return the favor as best it can. 1d6 plus 2. But no, I did say that I wasn't going to let them crit me because I'm a solo adventurer. Now it does have product damage. Strength is decreased by 1d4. I know, I'll roll that and I'll try and keep track on it. But he is going to interpose with his, I guess, well, it's not really interposing with his buckler. It's just the armor itself. The creature maybe slows down the feel of cold iron. So he will take 1d6 plus 2 is 8 minus 5 is 3. So he's on 13. And let's roll a 1d4 2. So we'll note that he takes 2. Can I edit this note? Describe strength damage. But now he gets to return the favor. And again, he is going to rebuke this creature. 1d6. 4 again, so 4 plus 2. So he feels his strength ebb and he just pushes forward with a sense of righteous fury, and it waves out, flies, flashes over the creature like acid, and again it contorts and twists as it takes another, what do we say, 4 plus 2 is 6, 12 damage. And as it kind of backs off for a moment, he is going to swing his sword as well. This is at disadvantage. So we're going to roll, I guess we're going to roll 6 dice. And it's either the first 3 or the second 3. So the first, no, it's going to be the second 3. So 3, 6, 7, plus 2. Oh, you know what? This is enough. So this blast of holy energy comes out of him. The creature reels back, and in this moment he swings. And like contrails, the creature becomes wisps and swirls away at the end of this sword. The body becoming incorporeal again, joining the dust that's settling amongst the room. And he just takes a moment to brace himself. He does recognize that he feels weaker. Two bits of strength damage. I guess we'll just hold on to that, see where that goes. Right, so now he's looking at these rooms. Does it say, though, what is on the doors? Yep, so now that he's done that, he's going to look at the doors. So one has a picture of an urn wrapped in ink black vines, which says the wasteland of filthy vines. He's just come from one which has a picture of a fungal maze that says labyrinth of gloom. There is one, a shadowy figure looms over a spiked anvil, and it reads the Forge of Annihilation. There's a black spider web etched into the door which says Den of Bitsy, Itsy and Bitsy. I guess you can do that kind of thing because this is actually, you know, it was written by a teenage character. Finally, the final door, a desiccated hand holding an eye, and deep scratches make the inscription ineligible. Hand and eye. It's a Vecna thing. I guess we'll do the Wasteland of Filthy Vines. So pushing open this door, slithering black vines squirm along the floor of this trash-filled room. Again, he's just going to pick through. He sees some urns and whatnot. Have a bit of a check just to see if there's anything in there that might be interesting. 12 plus 2, 14. Actually, as he's having a prod, and there's a lot of these urns, some of them broken. As he prods one, he hears from inside like the noise of something inside. And he opens it up, and lo and behold, finds himself a potion of healing. I will definitely take that. In fact, Nimble comes with cards. Or you can get it with cards. And so I've got a card, which is a potion of healing. And I'll just keep that with me to know that I can use it. 2d4 plus 4 hit points, which is pretty awesome. Alright, so that was that room. We'll see what the forge is about. So this is the Forge of Annihilation. An unholy forge dominates this grim chamber. Caustic fumes waft from its icy hearth, which swirl with a faintly glowing pale green slurry. Skulls bob along the liquid surface. Okay, so this is not as nice. Is there anyone in here? Oh, a familiar horrible creature. The same creature you encountered in the labyrinth above rises from the shadow of the forge. It unfurls its faceless head once more and chitters in anticipation. Roll initiative. Let me get a demigorgon here. Yeah. So roll initiative. Man, they really so much fighting. Okay, one action, and he is going to use this action again. Did we decide this creature had armor? We did, didn't we? This is not the screen I need to be looking at to figure out if it has armor. I need to click on it here. The view stat block. Where it says AC 15, yeah, it has armor. So he is going to, again, channel that goodness He's going to rid this dungeon of this creature, and he's going to rebuke it for 1d6, ignoring armor. Come on, 6. 1, no. Okay, so he draws on this, but the creature leaps, and the spell kind of, or the power dissipates as he has to suddenly defend himself from this lunging creature, which we said was 1d6 plus 3. Okay, so as the creature lunges, maybe just the spell does go off. He doesn't get to aim it properly, but the creature on the other hand gets momentarily flashed by this power, and both of them take a moment to miss. But thankfully, Nog is going to regain his senses, and he's going to swing out with this greatsword. And I rolled a 4 as the first number, so I get to roll it again. So 19 plus 11 is 30. So as they both kind of come to, and they both turn at the same time to each other, and Nog just does this full sweep, like spins all the way around, 360 with this, with no scope even. 360 spin with the greatsword, using the heft and the momentum. And as the creature comes leaping at him, it just connects. The creature thought it could try and get him whilst his back was turned, but it meets it just as the blade comes through, slicing through the creature, and you know what, let's just say it beheads it completely. The creature falls down, limp and dead. I suspect that's it. Well, he's killed the creature. Oh, wait, we get to get Fizzlebin. So he was in the room with the other things. So this room is now, what's the deal with this room? This is not the den of Itsy Bitsy. This is the altar of Vecna. Low fog pervades this eerily quiet chamber. A stone altar rises from the center of the floor. Atop the altar, a dismembered hand grasps an hourglass half filled with black sand and adorned with bone spindles. The sand defies gravity, flowing to the top bulb. But also inside of this room is, where do we put him? Hide this. Oh wait, can I just actually hide it that way? Yeah, okay, that works. It's Fizzbin. Or Fizzbin. Fizz. What was his name? Fizzlebin. Excellent. So the beardy gnome and fancy cap addresses you enthusiastically. A bravery, mastery, and teamwork, he exclaims. And then he looks and realizes it's not really teamwork. How wonderful it was to guide you on your quest. And he removes his cap. For your heroism, I bestow on you my magic cap. But know this: the real treasure is the knowledge you have gained along the way. Go forth, many great adventures await you. And with that, they both will exit out through the labyrinth. And I have defeated the Vanishing Gnome, which is the first adventure of the Hellfire Club. Welcome to the Hellfire Club. This is kind of cool. A lot of combat. Hopefully there's some other bits and pieces, but then I guess, like I say, I do actually enjoy combat, and Nimble's so great. It's quick and easy. I intend on doing the other 2 episodes. I'll just get this one probably split into 2 parts because it's huge. And yeah, thank you for joining me. Thank you for taking a break. I think I'm going to edit this video as well a little bit to make it a little easier to digest. And I hope to see you back for the next part, where we attempt whatever the next adventure is in this. There's 3. We'll attempt whatever the next adventure is with Nog, using Nimble 2, Solo, PUM, and, you know, likely still the D&D Beyond, because that's where I bought it, so I kind of need it for reading the adventure. But in the meantime, take care of yourself, and see you later.